Hey everybody, David G here, founder of the Internet Marketing Party, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be bringing you the one and only Leon Kolaski. A couple things I can tell you about Leon and why you should continue watching for the next 10 minutes is that Leon is going to show you the top 3 things that you should measure in your marketing business so that you can have hockey stick growth. Why is Leon someone that can tell you about this? He's one of the only business strategists and consultants that I know of that have helped take a business from absolute noob or a couple $100,000 a year all the way up to 20 million plus. There's very few people who can help consult at each level of growth because there's something that goes from 0 to 100,000, 100,000 to a million, million to 5 million, 5 million to 10, 10 to 20. Very few people can go to those very different phases in business. Leon has successfully continued to do this with clients that I personally know. In fact, I've seen Leon at different conferences, marketing events, and I didn't even know what exactly he did. All I knew is that I kept seeing him at the right places. And after I finally said, hey dude, what is it that you do? And he shared with me what he did. And I heard third party from the clients how thrilled and amazed they were with the results that he's gotten. I was like, oh my God, I need you to come speak on the Internet Marketing Party stage. And he very graciously accepted the offer. So Leon, thanks for being here.
Awesome. Thank you, David, for the very warm welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. So we talked about how all the different things you could possibly share with people. And then we talked about this magic number of 3. Tell people about that.
Absolutely. So one of the things that David and I talked about is the magic 3 metrics for marketing. And I use this pretty much straight across the board, whether I'm working with a client that is doing 50,000 a year, all the way up to north of 10 million per year. This seems to work really well. And this same principle could not only be applied to marketing, but it could also be used on the other teams and how you do your daily management of those teams in the business. So for instance, if you have a shipping department on the team, or you have a manufacturing facility and you're manufacturing products, I still like to use my magic 3 metrics regardless. And this is what I use to get that daily feedback that really gives me a pulse of what's going on in the business. I find that one of the biggest problems that I see across the board is that businesses don't set goals and they don't have a daily scoreboard. Like, you should know on a daily basis how to make those changes that are going to put you on that long trajectory that you want to get that hockey puck growth that you want in your business. So one of the things that I'm going to cover is really, how do I determine what are those 3 metrics? And I'm not going to go into full detail here exactly how I do that, but I want to give you just a little bit of an oversight so that you can understand why this is important. Well, one of the things that I always think of is whatever metric I decide on, it has to move other numbers in the business. So for instance, one of my metrics might be gross sales. And I know if this number is constantly increasing over time, that it's going to help bring up several other metrics that are important in the business. Also, one of the 3 metrics has to be what I would consider the gateway or the entry door of new customers, your new customer acquisition into your business. So this may be, if you're doing something online, this may be your initial lead that somebody is opting in to get more information about one of your lead magnets that you might have, or products or services that you have. And so typically one of my 3 magic metrics will be what I consider, because I think of a business like this, somebody is coming into the business. I want to figure out, and I want to keep growing this, what I would consider bottleneck, which for most businesses ends up being that initial lead. And then I also pick something at the very other end of the scale in the business. So it could be a number like gross sales, or if you maybe only have one product or service that you offer in your business, I want to know on a daily basis how many units that you're moving of those products. And then I have a few other tricks that we'll kind of cover during the presentation as far as when I adjust and maybe choose something else in the business. And really what I've seen is by having this daily feedback, as I'm shortening the feedback loop Most businesses, they operate on a quarterly reporting schedule in most cases. And what happens is the changes are not happening. That feedback loop is too large. And what happens is a lot of times you could be losing money for a much longer period of time than you need to. And you're also not asking the questions on a daily basis to figure out what can I do to constantly increase all of my magic metrics in the business. One of my principles that I learned from manufacturing was the theory of constraints. And really, that's why I simplify it down to just this drawing of the way that I think about of a business. I want to keep opening up these constraints because as I do that, this allows more money to flow through the business. And so like if somebody did have a problem, like one of the things that I really like, and this kind of is something from Russell Brunson, what he uses is like funnel graffiti. This is the way I do it on iPad. And what I do is I'll actually go ahead and map out the entire process, my customer journey that I've got with the client. And then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and write down all of my different conversion rates. So for instance, if I've got an opt-in here and this opt-in's performing at 20%, and then my order rate might be 10% here, I want to go ahead and map out my entire business and know where I'm at right now. Because then what I can do is by taking a look at maybe other things you've sold in your business, or even just reaching out to some of your peers that may have an adjacent business to you, you can figure out what's a good benchmark for you to have here, at these different points. What's a good conversion rate? You can even go into, a group online and, ask, hey, I'm selling XYZ e-com product. What's a good conversion rate for my funnel? And then what you do from there is you realize that something that you might have thought was good is actually a bottleneck. Because what happens is if I'm looking at a business and this is my customer journey rolling through here, and say I've got 20% of the people that are opting in here. Well, if I wanted to, and I've got say a $1 million business, I'm doing $1 million in sales. What I can do very quickly is go ahead and increase this number to 30%, which is very doable. And now instead of doing $1 million going through this entire customer journey, my business now goes to 1.5 million with just one simple tweak, which seems kind of crazy, just working on one opt-in page.
So you basically turn this like big blur of random stuff that has to do with marketing from Instagram to funnel building to all these things, and you just simplify it to like, hey, here's these basic principles. Go and find what your benchmarks are. Go and see whether you're high, average, or low. And if you're high, then go to find the one place in all of these benchmarks that is the lowest. Improve it, but you're always looking for the ones that's closest to the beginning. But once you've got that at the high end, then you go and start finding the next middle one.
Exactly. You go to the next step, because what happens is now all of a sudden I might have let's say 1,000 leads that are coming in per month into my opt-in. Well, then if I go ahead and now all of a sudden I have 1,500 leads that are rolling into my process, I got to take a look at my next step in the process. I might be doing sales over the phone. My next bottleneck might be I only have one sales rep on the phone, and they were at 10 phone calls a day. Now they're, have 15, I need to hire another rep. So to me, that's the next bottleneck that I've got to take care of in this business. And really, I just visualize it this way. So I just keep opening up these bottlenecks. And ultimately what you want is so that your business looks like this. People are coming in and I've removed all of the bottlenecks so that I can scale.
Yep. Makes amazing, perfect sense. It's so simple. I promised that we would be about 10 minutes. I think we're right around that mark now. So for somebody watching this right now that might be wondering, well, cool, I feel like you just opened up the entire thing. What is it you're going to share on the party? Because like sometimes things are made so simple that people go like, well, I had an itch and now I've scratched it. What's something you can help reveal for people that can be, okay, I got that. And, kind of leave them the cliffhanger wanting more.
Absolutely. One of the things I'm going to do is really get into what is the actual framework. And I'm going to show some examples of businesses that I've worked on and how we've implemented the 3 metrics and what that's done for them and how that's going to apply in your business.
All right. So I'm wanting people to go like, oh my God, I have to go to that party because if I don't go there, I'm going to miss this. And I'm thinking that one of the best things would be to have you would you be open to somebody that comes to the party doing like a quick review of their thing in real time?
Yeah, I definitely would do that. So for me to do this quickly and be able to help somebody, and probably what I would need for them to do is to draw out their entire value ladder. You can, go download Russell Brunson's Funnel Graffiti if you need to. And then what I want them to do is let me know they have to create this image so I can see what their customer journey looks like right now and what are the numbers at each one of those steps. And just by them doing this alone, it's going to be valuable to them because now they're going to know their numbers, which is one of the other things that most people do not do.
So maybe what we can do is whoever does this, you'll do a real-time audit at the party. That'll be a quick and dirty one. And then when we do the follow-up webinar for our members, you'll do a deeper dive, that will have 45 minutes to an hour to really walk through this with them and help them get to a much better place. And then other people will be able to watch that and see how you work and apply the principles you use with them to their own business.
Absolutely. And it could be, when we're doing the webinar, what I can do is literally take a look. The other thing that they can do is just prepare a document that has links to each of the assets that they've got here. And literally most of the time I could just take a look at something and be like, okay, your opt-in page, it's very weak. We need to change this. Boom, make these changes. Oh, the next step in the funnel, you need to make these changes, and then just kind of work it through and figure out like, okay, their entire process. These are the major things that need to be changed so that we could now get people flowing through their funnel a little better.
What are your thoughts around somebody who might feel like they want to do this, but they've got considerations around privacy or sensitive information? Is there a way we could anonymize it?
Yeah. So quite honestly, not so much for the webinar, but for the hot seat, I would think it's really easy somebody could submit it. I don't even have to know the person. They could maybe tell me what type of product. I don't even need to know that. But if I just had their numbers, I think from that, we could go ahead and be like, oh, this is probably what you need to do. Or you need to add, this type of product or service. But it would help if I knew the niche, right?
Sounds good. Awesome. Well, with that, go to internetmarketingparty.com/Austin to register for the party that Leon will be speaking at. And if you're not a member and you want to qualify for this awesome, amazing value add, is go to internetmarketingparty.com/join and become a member immediately, because this is worth potentially millions of dollars worth of value for you. Thanks, Leon, for taking the time. Appreciate you flying in all the way from West Hollywood, Los Angeles to Austin, Texas to come and strut your stuff, share your value with our tribe. And if you're watching this and you're not from Austin, make sure and book the date, June 14th.
At the Speakeasy in Austin, Texas.
So with that, any parting words?
I look forward to seeing you guys on June 14th.
All right, cool. Thanks. Over and out.